Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial with the Nextcloud installation series. Today we will be talking about authentication. So for most of you out there, you've installed the Nextcloud server. Now you're ready to share the awesomeness with your friends and family, or maybe if you have a small business. But in this case, we'll be focusing on external authentication using Google or Gmail, a Gmail account specifically. You've created a Nextcloud. Maybe you don't have an LDAP server or an LDAP server or Active Directory, but you want an easy way where users can authenticate on your Nextcloud server without you doing a lot of management of creating accounts and passwords and setting security policies and all that stuff. You can use Google or Gmail to authenticate your users, including Facebook, on your Nextcloud server using an application in Nextcloud called Social Login. Today, we're going to be focusing on Gmail or using Gmail to authenticate your users in Nextcloud. So without wasting any more time, we're going to go in and I'll show you how to configure your Nextcloud instance to accept Gmail logins, and you can assign permissions or assign users on groups after they log in or when they log in for the first time, so that way they can use the different resources in your Nextcloud, which can include accessing OnlyOffice, accessing the files, downloading and uploading files in a secure space on the web browser. So without wasting any time, we're just going to go straight into the configuration and then we'll test everything out like we always do.
Start off, you're going to log into your Nextcloud server as administrator. And once you're done logging in, you want to go into the administrators profile. You go into apps. And once we get into the apps, you want to search for social login. Okay. So you want to look for social login and then you can download the app and enable it. It's going to give you the download and enable option. So you're looking for social login. Mine is already downloaded and enabled. That's why I have the disable option. So for you, if this is the first time, you're going to download and enable. And once that's done, we want to go back into your administrative profile on here and click administration settings. And then on the left hand side, you want to select social login. So once your social login settings open, there's a whole bunch of things over here. So first of all, if you notice, you can configure SSO for a lot of social login profiles. So you can do Google or Gmail, you can do Amazon, you can do Facebook, Twitter, Slack, Discord, and so forth. For this video, we are focusing on Gmail, which is Google. And maybe in the future, I'm going to make a video about Facebook. And if you guys have any other SSO videos you want me to make for Nextcloud, you can leave it in the comment section below and we'll do that. But a lot of you out there have Gmail, so I'm just going to focus on Gmail because it's free and it's easy to use. And a lot of people already have a Gmail account. So before we get in, there's a few settings you can configure in here that we're going to talk about in depth as we move forward. So you can disable auto login when you create. You can disable auto create users when users log in with your Gmail. You can create users with a disabled account. So when a user logins for the first time with Gmail, it's going to disable the account. That way, it's kind of like a security measure. So you can go and have to enable the user so random people are not getting access to your server. So when somebody logs in for the first time, it disables their user account. The disable auto create users. If someone logs in for the first time, the Nextcloud is not going to automatically create them a user account. They're going to get an error and you're going to have to create them a user account in Nextcloud before they can log in with their Gmail credentials. We can also prevent creating a user account if an email already exists. So if a user already has an email address, they can't. Nextcloud is not going to recreate them a new user account. For example, if you've connected LDAP and there's a user in LDAP with a Gmail address that matches a Gmail login, Nextcloud is just going to log them in with that Gmail address and not create them a new user account. So update user profile every login. So every time a user logs in using one of these SSOs, Nextcloud is going to take that information from the SSO provider and update the user's profile. And you can hide the default login, so you can hide the Nextcloud login page and just have the Gmail login option included if you only want users to log in with Gmail. And you can restrict login users for login users without an assigned group not to log in and so forth. Now that that's we've gone through some options that we have. We're going to deep dive into creating our app ID and our secret for Google. So for us to start, we need to go into the documentation. I have the link of this documentation in the description section of this video. So you can just click on the link. And the first thing you want to do is install the app, which we've done, and you want to set up a Google authorized domain. In this case, you can click on this link. So I'm just gonna click on this link here. Actually, I'm gonna open this on a new tab, and when you do that, it brings you here. And what you want to do is select the option, like the document says, to add a property and enter your Nextcloud domain name. So right here, we're going to click add a property. I already have a property added. So in this case, you're going to do enter your domain name. So if your Nextcloud is using the domain cloud.geektogether.com, in this case, I will type in there cloud.geektogether.com. In your case, if you have a different domain name, so you can do geektogether.com, and then you do continue. So once you do continue, you're going to be presented with the option to select the instructions for your domain provider. So in this case, I use Cloudflare. So Cloudflare is automatically populated, but I discovered that using the auto population option doesn't work. So you want to use any DNS provider option, and then like we've done before, you want to copy. First of all, you want to copy the TXT record. You want to copy the DNS configuration name. So the name is going to be Geek Together in my case. Yours is going to be your domain name or whatever you have in here. So you're going to go create that TXT record. And then for the TXT record DNS configuration, you're going to copy this and do it for the description. So for example, if you're using Cloudflare, you're going to open up your Cloudflare, you go to add new record, and you're going to select TXT. And once you do that, you're going to put in the name. In this case, the name is going to be geektogether.com. And then for the record itself, you want to copy this text and then paste it in here. And then you paste the geektogether.com name and you save it. So once you save that, and that's all good, you're going to press verify. And at that point, Google is going to verify that TXT record and it's going to tell you that it is completed. And so once that verification is complete, what you want to do is go back to the instructions and you want to select the console for developers. So we're going to go to that page now. And once we're there, you're going to be presented with the APIs/services. At this point, what you want to do is select a new project. So you click on projects and you select create a new project. You can create a new project here. Click create the new project. Sorry. I'm going to go back. Click on my projects, new project, and it's going to ask you for a name. So you can call this anything. You can just call it my project 4370, or you want to give it a friendly name like Nextcloud, and then you're going to click create. So once you click create the new project, the next thing you want to do is go to credentials. And in credentials, you want to create a new OAuth 2.0 client ID. So how to do that is you're going to come up here and select the create credentials option, and you're going to select OAuth client ID. So once you select that, you want to select authentication type, and you just put it a web application, and you give it a friendly name. So you can call it, in this case, I'll call it Nextcloud test. Once you do that, you want to add the authorized JavaScript origins. So for this, you're just going to type your, once again, use HTTPS. You enter your Nextcloud's DNS name or host name. So in my case, cloud.gigtogether.com. And you want to copy this, and we'll do the same thing below. So below, for add authorized client redirect model, you place the cloud.gittogether.com. And if you look at the documentation, we have to add the apps/social login, auth, and then Google. So we're just going to go back. We're going to go back and we'll paste that in front of that. So once you paste that, so once you create that, now you can see in here, I'm presented with the client ID and the client secret. Okay. So I'm going to copy this, the client ID, copy it, and we'll head over back to our social login page, and you paste that in there. And for the client secret, you copy that as well, and you paste that in there. So once you do that, now we're good to go. What you want to do is hit the save button. And at this point, we're going to go now to, we're going to open an incognito browser and try to log in using a Gmail account. So we're going to open a new tab. This is a Gmail account I created for us to be able to test this authentication using Gmail. The user's name is Lila and the last name is Tana. So for us to do this, now we're going to go and open up our cloud.gigtogether page. Once we do that, you can see now there's an option on here added that says login with Google. So if we select login with Google, we're taken over to a Google sign-on page. So the reason why the Lila Tana Gmail is showing there is because I'm already logged in as that person. So if you had a different account or you were not logged in, you're going to be presented with a page like this. Okay. So I'm going to go back here and I'll select the Lila Tana. And in this case, you enter your username and password. And once you do that, this Google is going to send your credentials to your Nextcloud server. And as you can see, we're able to log in. So if we go to our profile, so we'll go to settings. If we go to our social login profile, to our personal info, you can see on here that our full name, Lila Tana, was pulled from Google. Lila Tana. The email, the same, was pulled from Google, and all the other information. If we had a picture, it would pull over here. So in our case, our Gmail or Google picture is an L. So that was pulled in here. So now that that is done, we've tested it and it works. I'm going to log out here real quick. So at this point, if you notice, anyone with a Gmail account can log into your Nextcloud server. Anyone. So if this Nextcloud instance is exposed to the internet like I have one, anyone can log into my Nextcloud server. Anyone that has a Gmail account. So there's a couple of ways we can prevent this. The first thing you can do is disable auto create new users. So you can set up your Nextcloud in a way that you have to actually create a user account before the user can log in with their Gmail option. The safest way you can do if you don't want to manage creating accounts is to select the option to create users with disabled account. This way, when a user logs in, the account is going to be created and is going to be disabled. And you, as the administrator of Nextcloud, you get a notification that a user account was created, and now you're going to have to go in and obviously enable the account. So we're going to try that. So now that I have that selected, I'll save this. And since I have that saved, I'm going to go into users and I will go to active users. As you can see, Lila is here. So we're going to delete this user. So we'll delete the user account. And now that Lila is gone, we're going to go back to our Google page. We'll refresh. Sorry, to our Nextcloud page, and we'll refresh and we'll try to log in again as Lila to see what happens. So when we try to log in this time, we should get an error that our account has been disabled. So as you can see, error user disabled. So the user account was created again, but it was disabled. So if we go back to our Nextcloud as administrator, we're going to go into users. So if we go into users, we can see on here that we have a new user account created, but it's disabled. For us to give this user access, all we need to do now is just enable the user. And once we enable the user, active users, the user is automatically enabled. So if we go back and I go back to cloud.geektogether.com, now you can see the user was automatically logged in because the browser caches the credentials. And since the account is enabled, now that user is back logged in. Lila Tanner. So I'm going to log out. Another thing you can do with this awesome feature, before we start, I'll delete this user account. Another thing we could do is we can set it up in a way that when users log in with a Gmail account, you assign them to a specific group. So if we go back to social login, you can see on here that you can automatically create groups if they do not exist, or within the Google configuration, you can set a default group for Google accounts. So for example, you have a small business and you've installed Nextcloud and you have 10 users, you want them to log in using Gmail, or your family members, you want them to enjoy your pictures and music files or text files, or use your only Office doc server within Nextcloud and enjoy the awesomeness of the open source programs. And they have the 10 of them and they have Gmail accounts and you give them access. You can put them to a specific group and limit their privileges. So how we can do that is, before we finish this configuration, we can go back to users and we can create or add a group. So let's call this group Gmail users. Okay. And if we add that group, we can go back into administrative settings, so administration settings, and now we can go into social login and we can add them to the group Gmail users. So everyone who logs in using the Gmail SSO is going to be added to that group. And if you don't already know how to give group permissions in Nextcloud, if you wanted to give a specific group administrative settings, you can come to administrative privileges on the left side and you can assign them special settings in here for administrators. But these are our friends and they are just our regular users of Nextcloud. We don't want to give them any administrative privileges. And sure, we don't want admins to be able to log in with Gmail SSO. So that's why we created that separate group. So now that we have that group set up and we have it set up in here for the users to be assigned to that group, we can go back to our login page and try to log in again with Gmail. So if we go back and we try to log in again as Lila, you can see that once we log in, if we go to our settings We're logged in and we should be in the Gmail users group. As you can see here, you are a member of the following group, Gmail users. So if we go as admin and try to verify that real quick, if we go to Gmail users, now we have Lila is in there. Okay. So if let's say I go to my Gmail account and let's say I change some configurations, like I added a profile picture, something like this, and next, save that. Remember, if we come to our social login application right here, and if we add the option that says automatically or update user profile every login, and since we've updated our profile in Gmail, we've added a picture. If I go here and I log out, and if I try to log in again, that should automatically update my profile for any changes that I made, be it name, phone numbers, picture updates. As you can see, my picture was updated from Gmail or Google. You can see on here, my picture was updated. So if I were to add a phone number on my Gmail account, that's going to populate and all sorts of stuff. So if we come back here, there's a couple of other things that you can change. You can remove the text. You can have the button text be without the prefix. What that means is if you look at the login page here, you see it says login with Google. So if we select the option here to use button text without the prefix and we go back and we refresh, you can see that it just shows Google. The login stuff, the login with then Google is removed. So that's what that does. If you hide the default login option and you save it, and you go back, and if you refresh this page, you're going to see that the default login page is gone. It automatically displays Google login as the primary factor of authentication to Nextcloud. And now then you can select the login with username and email for it to bring back this login page. So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you had a great time learning how to integrate Gmail with Nextcloud. If you have any questions about this integration or configuration, please leave it down in the comment section below. Please like the videos and subscribe to the channel. Also, I want to remind you guys that the only way we can keep making this video is if you subscribe to the channel and like the videos. So we know that you guys actually enjoy what we do on this channel. If you want us to make any specific kind of videos that has to do with open source or even sometimes enterprise or closed source applications, you can let us know by sending us an email, or you can leave it down in the comment section below. Please be patient with us. Sometimes we can't respond to every comment, or we can't have everyone's request done at the same time, but we will try our best to meet our subscribers' needs. Make sure you're subscribing and liking the videos. Thank you guys. Take care and have a great day.